Hi, I'm rickdior, and this lesson will be on using a double kick pedal, which I don't use much, but I use it every once in a while, especially for sessions that are a little more rock and rollish, kind of old school stuff. Now there you saw a little tiny demo that I did, and I played some fills with the two bass drums, or the two bass drum beaters. Obviously there's not two bass drums here. Now, when I was a kid, I did have two bass drums for a while. That was before the invention of the double pedal. I remember seeing a band in concert that was opening for another group who shall remain nameless. Well, now we won't talk about it. But anyway, it was the Pat Travers band, and the drummer Tommy Aldridge was playing. And I had to be no more than 12 years old when I went to this concert. And I think my sister took me. She's older. And I was amazed at how great this guy sounded with two bass drums. So right away I found an old bass drum, and I had just gotten my kit, and I started messing around with that other bass drum. And then of course I discovered other drummers like Billy Cobham and Simon Phillips in the rock world, and of course Louis Bellson in the jazz world. Several guys for big bands would do that in those days. And then the double pedal was invented, and that made life easier for a lot of us because we didn't need to have two bass drums to lug around two bass drums. Now, I am not a virtuoso double bass player by any means. I just use it sparingly. Right there was about the height of my abilities using it. But I've seen guys do amazing things with their feet, you know, play rudimental etudes and all that. If that's something you want to spend your time on, then definitely do it. I do a lot of different things, and doing that would take an incredible amount of time, which is pretty amazing stuff, but I choose not to put my time there. But anyway, you should have a basic understanding about using a double pedal because you will need to do it. And I've had to actually use it for symphonic repertoire. If someone writes a modern piece, they'll write it for two bass drums sometimes, actually. We've done some of those pieces with the orchestra where they're kind of in the rock vein, almost kind of a speed metal thing where you have to do that. So I couldn't imagine someone who's never done that having to step into that chair. They'd be in big trouble. So I advise everybody to kind of get some minimum technique with that. And that's what today's video is going to be about. Now also, it's great for strengthening your hi-hat foot. Really amazing for that. And once I started playing double bass drums when I was a kid, all of a sudden my hi-hat got so much stronger. Also, I was able to start doing some splashes because that calf muscle was much stronger now. Now let's talk just quickly about my setup here. I'm using these Tama Iron Cobra pedals, which I always use. And these particular ones are kind of blingy. I guess they're chrome plated. I got these a long time ago. I actually can't even remember where I got them. But they're great. And they're just like the regular pedals. These are just shiny, so don't look at them too much. All right, and then the other thing is the snare drum I'm using. This is a bell brass GMS drum. It's pretty heavy. It weighs about almost 30 pounds. But the thing I like about it, it's a 13-inch drum. And I'm kind of a short guy, so it fits pretty well between my legs here. So I'm not, stretching out my legs. I'm sitting very naturally. With a 14-inch drum, for me anyway, when I play with two bass drums, my knee comes up and it'll start hitting that drum. It's very annoying. So I'll usually use a 13 if I have to play a lot of stuff with two bass drums, a 13-inch snare drum. So that's what I'm using today. Okay, so let's dive into this. If you go to my book, page 121, that's where we'll start. And this exercise here, the first one, sounds like this as written with one bass drum. So that's the first line. Now, what you can do is take the other bass drum and add it to the first as a diddle. So in other words, so when you do that, all you have to do is drop your feet, basically. And I've found through teaching many years that students can grasp this pretty quickly as far as just dropping their leg. It's almost like a flam, and it comes into effect like that. It's much easier than what we're going to do in a minute with actual coordination with the feet. But this is a good place to start. It builds up strength, also sounds good for fills. So let's play the first two lines for you. We'll play it rather quickly at 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you have that. Now, you need to go through the whole page doing it. I'm not going to do that today just to save some time. But that's what I regularly practice to warm up with that, okay? And again, just drop your feet. I'm not necessarily playing with, a lot of force at all. I'm just doing this. And in fact, I started my little solo like that that you just watched a couple minutes ago. So next you want to do the thing that's under it is the two bass drum notes. Now for this, you're going to play in time. In other words, it's not just dropping, it's actually part of the rhythm. And this is more difficult. So we'll play you these two lines once more as written. And we'll do this, let's go a little faster. Let's say 140. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so there you're actually, timing everything, which becomes much, much harder to get that even. So once I work a while on that with my students, we'll go to the hard stuff. So then you can go to the rhythms. So let's say a good page to do would be page 8 works well in my book. And what you're going to want to do is fill in. So you're going to fill in the notes. And I'm going to put this here on the screen. I actually wrote it out for you all so you can see what I'm doing. So you see the line up top, and that corresponds to the first 4 bars on page 8. And then you see the next 2 lines are the actual thing that I'm going to play, the fill-ins. So just take a look at this for a minute, and I'll be quiet. Okay, so now that you've had a chance to freeze that on the screen and just absorb all that, these are 32nd notes and 16th notes. And the 32nd notes are the bass drum fill-ins. So let's just do that first bar slowly for you so you can grasp that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see there I'm doing unisons between the snare and the cymbal. Later on you can alternate around the drums and, right, left, whatever you want to do there. Okay, so what we're going to do, we'll do the same tempo and I'll play through the first 3 lines for you. You'll see this on your screen. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm leading there with my right foot pretty much on all of those figures. You can alternate if you want. You can also lead with your left foot if you want. So after you're done doing the unisons, you could do alternating just like the previous one that we did. So the last thing I want to do today is talk about developing foot technique, double bass technique, using ostinatos. One of my favorite ones you heard me play in that solo, it's a triplet ostinato. And this is how that goes. So the right foot plays this rhythm in triplets. And the left foot fills in like this. Now you can do a really interesting thing, whereas if you tilt your left foot back and to the left, you can actually catch the hi-hat pedal if the pedal is close enough. So that sounds like this. It's tricky, so you're going to want to work on it, slowly and over again till you get it. It takes a little bit of strength to play with your leg tilted like that. And then what you want to do is just play over it on the snare drum, which is another kind of level of coordination. Now, the good things to do for this are rudimental etudes. Any of the Wilcoxon or Pratt things in 6/8 are great. You can even start with the 3 camps. I'll play a little of that for you. So I started a little with the 3 camps kind of thing, and then I just improvised a little. So that's what you should do. Now there's some written things in my book that work great over this. All the Nandigo 6/8 rhythms on page 57, also on page 56, there's some on there. They work great. So if you play that over this rhythm, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then finally, you want to take a look at some of the rhythms on page 52. And this is kind of challenging because they're broken up triplet rhythms. And you'll just get that going and play them over that. Let's give you a little taste of that. We'll just do 1 or 2 lines here. So that was the first 3 lines. And this kind of stuff is really great for catching figures, but it's tricky coordination-wise. And you see there I'm doing unisons. Of course, just like anything else we've done today, you can alternate around the kit. So that's it for this video. I hope this helps. Those of you have asked me, some of you, if I play double bass drums. The answer is rarely I do. Special occasions, sessions, if I have to do a piece of music, like I said, with the orchestra or something else, or show. Some of the Broadway shows I've played actually are written, the rock shows, for double bass drums, some of the rock shows. So you got to know it. It's part of being a professional. Again, if you want to take it to a virtuoso level, that's a whole level of commitment with just double bass. So, lots and lots of time on that. I like to work on my hi-hat more than anything with my left foot. So the next video will be on left foot hi-hat ostinatos that I use all the time. And that kind of stuff I really, really love, and I work on it constantly. So we'll see you soon with that one. Take care.